Before we could actually bring the two masters together, they had to meet. We needed some warming up time. Very kindly, Mankujitu invited us to his home ashram on the sacred mountain Lawu in central Java. Long legacy of hermits live there, long legacy of a lot of spiritual activity on this sacred mountain. What I remember feeling was the stirring of synchronicities and the blending of magic. It's not really clear what's going to happen, what's going to emerge out of the unknown.
Amazing life force.
They were starting to blend rituals, they were each doing their separate mantras but doing them together, and day after day it started building until we hit a kind of crescendo. And I remember sitting there in the dark, in the ashram, in the sacred shrine room, and both of them made a revelation. It was like an epiphany in the dark.
Less than a year ago, he was asked by a community, an advocacy group for Borobudur. They asked him if it was true, the premise that Borobudur is not complete without its chaitya.
It's true.
Okay, so it's an essential piece that is missing. And they asked him if it is true that with the placing of a new chaitya, then Borobudur fulfills its intention by the designers fully, not, you could say, at 70% or 50% without it, because it's like you're cutting the potency of it. And he says, well, let me ask the Chikal Bakal. So he says he went to ask the guardians of the site. But these are all guardian spirits, entities. He knows all of his dharma from practice and direct transmission by nature, not because he's been to school or he's not a textual person.
Mankujitu is a really intense cat. He's got a lot of strength and power. Essentially, he's somebody who communes with the spirits and is an intermediary between various dimensions of reality. So in contrast, there is the giggling, playful Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Well, you couldn't find more different bedfellows. I mean,
This canyon, and especially above, is really haunted. People stay away from here. But he reopened it as a spiritual practice ground. Come back to samsara.
unbeknownst to each of them, Geshe Tenzin Zopa was also approached by the same organization, the same bureaucratic organization that governs the well-being of the structure of the Borobudur. They had also asked Geshe Tenzin Zopa to be part of a conference. It was one of the first Buddhist conferences at the Borobudur in centuries.
I think definitely has to do with this divine power or the karmical kind of responsibility that somehow, like kind of descend on me. Otherwise, I'm nobody. Mm-hmm. They can ask anybody. Many great masters, famous.
Right.
But these people keep choosing me. I also wonder why. So it has to do with either karma or the divine, the way Master says is like something is happening, energy, something beyond our understanding,
And in that meeting, his inclination, very strong inclination, was to raise the issue of the incomplete chatra at Borobudur to the awareness of the committee.
And I voiced up about the importance, and the people listened, everybody listened. And we even made a document, the letter.
And they went about and they collected signatures and made an affidavit and presented it to the government. And so I think that whole process and that document that they forged together, it went dormant for several years before the causes and conditions came full circle for this kind of historic moment to arise.
Waktu di Cikal Bakal itu, doa saya ingin menaikkan mahkota yang belum dipasang, asli mahkotanya. Bagaimana mahkota Borobudur ini bisa dipasang gitu. Doanya itu tujuannya. Bareng gitu kan, bareng gitu. Siwa Buddha bersama gitu.
Together.
Yeah,
I was very excited as you see, because it will create an energy that hasn't been seen in centuries maybe.
And what does it mean that the symbolic structure of world peace and unity is incomplete? Think about that as a symbol, and then think about these two masters from different traditions coming together in order to inspire people to complete it, not physically, but energetically, which means to envision it already complete first.
What they can do together, what we can do, is have the spiritual, the energy crown covering it. And then he says, I don't know what will happen, don't ask me to guarantee, but without this, for sure there will be no mahkota. This is a premise.
Ya, karena ada sebagian para spiritual bila mahkota nggak dipasang, Nusantara ini kan punya ganti.
This is what they decided that they were going to do, that we were going to do a ceremony with our group so that people could come together from different countries to envision the completion of a symbolic temple structure of peace so that we could move together towards actualizing that vision.
These two traditions are already showing the way of we are different, but we are working toward the same goal. There will be a response, he says. He expects a response from ancestors, devas, from the all illuminated beings. As an antenna, you could say, emanate this type of mission or energy or this hope throughout the global earth plane.
Perhaps you see in the news, there are so many fighting, so many hate speech. And what is the effect if we put that and we put it into the media? It is about the compassion. Then it can be like a value for us, a long forgotten value. What makes someone a king or a queen? It's not our political power, it's our compassion.
Fenomena alam ini sudah nggak stabil. Fenomena alam.
Because we live also in a time and a world of instability. So he says this is, well, basically in short, whatever we're doing here is needed more than ever.
So here's where the story takes a bit of an unsettling turn. You see, we talked about something else in that dark room. Something spoken only in vague whispers, long after the camera was turned off. Whispers of visions and prophecy, of past cataclysm and a coming crossroads. If you listen closely, maybe you can hear what I'm talking about. Like future reverberations echoing backward through time. Like the footsteps of something large and heavy and near.